Insights from the inside. Channel News Asia.
Hi, I'm Melvin Yong, standing in for Shankaraya. My guest tonight is a Singapore-born international concert pianist who has won accolades, awards and honors since his first public performance at the age of 5. 4 decades on, Seow Yit Kin is still a familiar favorite in the local classical music scene. But success has come at a price. Seow Yit Kin shares candidly about his successes, his sacrifices, and Singapore's burgeoning art scene. All right, Seow Yit Kin, welcome home and welcome to In Conversation. You started tinkling with the piano at the age of 3, and I think it was your mother who said in an interview several years ago that, you know, when you love music, you love the piano so much at that age that you loved it more than food, as it were. That it was actually hard to get you to open your mouth unless you were actually sitting in front of the piano. Is that true?
Yes, I suppose I do remember taking about 5 hours over meals, so I suppose I was more interested in other things than food, yes.
But why? I mean, why did you feel that, you know, at that age, that was what you were?
I don't know, I suppose because there was a piano there and everyone else played. It was quite a musical house and, you know, we had records and there was a lot of music around. And I just followed what everyone else did, really. Yes.
Okay, you've played for many people around the world, many dignitaries, including the Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and so on. Find us a piece that is typical of your work and play.
Right.
Singapore's most famous piano prodigy, Seow Yit Kin, has a career that spans some 4 decades. At 5, Seow gave his first public performance at his kindergarten's end-of-term concert. At 8, he picked up the violin. At 12, Seow became the youngest Singaporean to obtain the performer's diploma. His extraordinary talent was discovered when his board examiner taped both his piano and violin performances and submitted them for audition to the prestigious Yehudi Menuhin School in England. Lord Menuhin was so impressed by the young Seow that he wrote a personal letter offering Seow a place in his school, the first Singaporean so rewarded. Seow soon left for England. From then on, there was no looking back. The former ACS boy spent the next decade competing and playing at concerts around the world. At 19, he embarked on his international career by winning the BBC piano competition, despite being the youngest contender. He was also named one of London's top 10 most outstanding musicians. At 22, Seow won the bronze medal at the Arthur Rubinstein competition in Israel. Besides receiving praises from the master pianist himself, Seow also received a personal check of $1,000 US. In his career, Seow made several recordings, one of which is a traditional Chinese concerto, The Yellow River. It became a gold record.
Bravo. Having traveled throughout the world, playing concerts and making all the sacrifices that you had over the years, would you say you've arrived in your career?
Well, I think I was very lucky when I started. I won, you know, a few competitions, and so that sort of gave me a kind of career. But I wouldn't feel I wouldn't say I've arrived. I don't think I have arrived in that sense. I was just very lucky at that beginning and had a lot of work and a lot of concerts, and it doesn't get any easier actually. You know, there are always other people about, and it's a very tough competition.
Okay, you used to say, I believe, I've read in the research, that you feel nervous ahead of a concert, just before a concert. Having performed, for so many years right now, more than 3 decades, are you still nervous right now? Do you still find those butterflies in your stomach?
Yes, oh yes. Yes, it happens at very strange moments. I mean, you know, it just, you know, can happen during a performance. If one hasn't been nervous beforehand, it can suddenly happen during the show.
Why,
so,
though, I mean?
Why is
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just psychological, really. You know, there's always difficulties, and somehow one's brain sort of tells one that, you know, the next bit's going to be difficult, and so you get nervous. Yes, it's strange business.
When you actually play in a concert, who do you play for? Do you play for yourself? Do you play for the audience that's watching? Do you play for the critics who are there to do a review of the performance? Who do you play for?
Well, all of that, really. In the end, I suppose it's for oneself that one plays, and you know, no one else is going to really care that much, I think. But yeah, one has to think about everything. I mean, all the little noises that one hears during a performance, you know, every little cough, usually one is aware of. Yeah.
What about the audience and the critics? Do they feature at all? Are they important to you?
Yes, very much, yes.
How so?
Yes. Well, if there's a very responsive audience, you know, that helps a lot. It makes one feel wanted, you know. And if the audience feels, if they seem to be rather cold, then that doesn't make it any easier. And, you know, if the critics there, one always feels that they're out to get you. And, you know, all the knives are out, so that's not very nice.
Sure. Surely you must feel a lot of pressure in that sense, having those people watch you. How do you cope with that?
Well, I don't always. I think it's very hard. I mean, you know, there are times when, you know, people crack. I mean, you know, I usually manage, I think, to get through, but it's very tough. One has to just try and think straight, and there are moments when one can't, you know. And,
are there moments that you haven't been able to overcome that sort of nervousness,
yes, that's right.
Sort of pressure?
Yes, oh yes, yes.
And what happens?
I think usually people wouldn't notice because I've always managed to get through to the end. But you know, it's just a question of faking it, really.
So it translates into your music, is what you're saying?
Yes, it does, I think, yes, yes. But I think probably most people wouldn't notice because, you know, I managed to cover up. Yes, yes.
And how do you feel when you go away from that? I mean, do you feel a sense of regret, as it were, that you actually have not done the best that you have?
Oh, yes.
Or you can?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it's very upsetting. It can go on for days, you know.
In Conversation, we'll be back in a while.